As the PM and Chancellor fine-tune their five-point plan for growth, we all wait with bated breath to see how much money will be put back into our pockets as Sunak promises to cut taxes.
Well, joining us now is the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Laura Trupp. Welcome, Laura. The Prime Minister has promised tax cuts. What exactly are they going to be?
Well, we're in the day before the autumn statement, so I cannot say specifics. But what I can say is that the economy has turned a corner. If you think about where we were last year with inflation at 11% and the Bank of England predicting a very significant recession, we are now at halved inflation. So we've met the Prime Minister's target of halving inflation by the end of the year. It's at 4.6%. Real wages are rising. This is really positive news. And now in the autumn statement, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about growth and about cutting taxes.
Laura, welcome to the show. Really appreciate you taking time out. One of the big things we've been discussing, because in the past, I think with budgets and autumn statements, there's probably been more detail released to the media. I know this has sort of been thrown upon us. Suddenly there's a £25 billion spend. Hunt sort of moved from no tax cuts to let's make some. I put this to your shadow yesterday, who wouldn't answer the question, James Murray. What's more important? Building business and an infrastructure for success in the economy, watching that drip down and affect everybody, or putting pounds in people's pockets to get them understanding, presumably, that your government is doing what it can now to help people in a cost of living crisis. That's the issue, right?
We need one, Jeremy, as you know, to be able to do the other. We need the economy to grow. We need businesses to do well. We need investment in order to be able to pay for our public services and for benefits for people who really need it. And that is what we are, as Conservatives, are all about. We've taken difficult decisions in the last year to make sure inflation does come down so that we can grow the economy. So that means that we can put more money into public services and cut taxes. That is the entirety of our economic plan. And the difference between us and the Labour Party is that we are able to make those decisions, those really, really tough decisions, when they want to spend £28 billion a year more. There is a real difference between the parties which has emerged on economic policy. One which is going to take the money that you earn at home really very seriously, and one which is going to borrow more to push up inflation, push up borrowing and push up taxes.
But then it must worry you. Sorry, Nick, very quickly. There was a survey yesterday, Laura, and I'd love your response to this, that said that 11% more of people in this country now trust the Labour Party financially. And I'll repeat what I said earlier. I was brought up to believe the Tory party was about low taxation, good security, immigration, all those sorts of things. We have the highest taxation in 70 years, right? We have trillions of pounds worth of debt. And I know you're going to throw COVID at me, but that must concern you, that a majority, increasingly, of British public are saying, actually, we're not scared of Labour. They've always said they'll borrow money, but we're in hock anyway.
We, above all, are about fiscal responsibility, about being stewards of the nation's finances so that people at home know that their economy is in good hands. And sometimes that means
Laura,
making really difficult decisions that, as a Conservative, I don't want to make.
Sorry, Laura, are you speaking there on behalf of Rishi Sunak's government, current cabinet, or are you talking about the Tory party in general?
Rishi Sunak. So I think this Prime Minister and this Chancellor have in the last year taken decisions that, you're right, Jeremy, that no Conservative wants to take, but it was important that we did that so we could pay for example, paying half of people's energy bills last winter. Now we've done that and we have controlled spending in a way that was necessary to bring down inflation. And now we are in a position where we can look at cutting taxes, which is what we want to do. But the prerequisite for that is stable finances, bringing down inflation. And that's what we've done. It's not been easy, but that is what we have done.
Laura, is it really fair for Rishi Sunak and his cabinet to claim responsibility for halving inflation, but he blamed it on everybody else when actually inflation was going through the roof?
The causes of inflation are very clear, that we had an extreme energy price shock that everybody would have seen as a result of the war in Ukraine and continuing supply-side issues leading on from COVID. But what happens with inflation, as you all know, is that that gets caught up in an economy into a higher and higher price spiral. What the Bank of England needed to do was to have a tighter monetary policy, so pushing up interest rates. That was totally the right thing to do. But as a government, we needed to support that by making sure we were very, very careful with our spending, making sure we weren't putting inflationary pressure back into the economy. So the two things have to work together. Otherwise, you know, it won't work, essentially. And we've done that. And that has not been easy. And we've been opposed at every step by the Labour Party. But because of those difficult decisions, inflation has come down, and we are the party that will keep it down.
Laura, just one final question. And by the way, can I say thank you for coming on? Because there's not been many Tories who have stuck their head above the parapet, and I appreciate it. And I hope you'll come back. Front page of The Times today.
I will.
Rishi Sunak will end the national scandal of 2 million people who are out of work by forcing more benefit claimants to look for jobs under plans announced in tomorrow's autumn statement. Just a brief comment on that, Laura, if you'd be so kind.
There is a fundamental Conservative principle that if you can work, you should work. And that is what we are all about. Of course, we will protect people that need it. But if you can contribute, it is your duty as a citizen to do that. And that is what we are going to make sure happens.
Brilliant. And final, very quickly, Lord Cameron of Chipping Norton used to work for him. You happy he's back?
I'm delighted. I think he's going to add so much to the government in terms of experience and also in terms of making sure that foreign policy is working for us in terms of trade as well. He spoke about that yesterday. He's a great addition to the cabinet.
Congrats on the new job. You'll definitely come back on Talk today, yeah?
Of course I will. Thank you so much.
There you go. That's a contract. Thank you so much,
We've got
Laura.
one. Thank you, Laura.